Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. Today, I have my highest conviction gold exploration company with an important discovery in Goliath Resources. I think it's emerging as the most important high-grade discovery of gold in the Golden Triangle, possibly since Eskay Creek. I got a good feeling it's rivaling the Bruce Jack success of Pretium, which was a great pick in my report. And I'm very impressed with the recent results and all the work that's getting done. So I thought it would be a good day to talk to Roger Rasmus. Roger, thanks for joining us today.
Hey Alan, good morning. Yeah, thanks. Always a pleasure to chat with you. Especially gold ripping today, silver. I think finally over $40.
Yeah,
Futures
41
on gold.
on the futures, it's 41 and a half or something
Yeah,
like that for silver, and
yeah,
gold's having its next important breakout. We spent a few months there of it sort of basing.
yes,
And I know the gold bugs, they get a little antsy. But, in a lot of trends, the basing period is really important because it sort of sets you up for the next big move. And we've got that breakout as of Friday and today and on and onwards and upwards to new record highs.
exactly. No, it's the perfect storm for all explorers, new discoveries, results, etc. So hopefully we finally get the that disconnect between the actual commodity prices and the actual share prices of these companies, and obviously with Goliath as well. But yeah, no, we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting day for sure, coming off a long weekend,
Well,
and everyone's
you
all
bring up an interesting point there. I was really impressed this summer with while gold was going sideways, we saw good action in the gold stocks. A bunch of financings were done during the summer. I really haven't seen a summer like this. I can't remember in my 32 years in the business, Roger, where it was buoyant like this and financing's getting done.
yeah, not just even financings, but oversubscribed multiple times,
Yeah,
right? So yeah, it was
exactly.
very busy summer, which is fantastic. So again, I think things are setting up really nicely here for the fall. And with us, obviously, we've only announced 7 holes to date. We've got another 108 to come, essentially. So I think Goliath's in a really great spot here.
What I attributed that to, Roger, is I'm getting the feeling that generalist investors in the West are starting to warm up to gold stocks. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's getting a little more, maybe a little more streamy here. So, bottom line is with what's going on with the Fed and all these other bits and pieces that we're getting more headlines, which is fantastic for the whole sector.
Yeah, well, and now gold's running again, and it really couldn't be a better time to have a great discovery. And my gosh, Surebet just keeps on delivering time after time with every hole. These
Sure.
recent results, I'll just give you the headlines, folks. Goliath intercepts 10.62 grams per ton of gold over 22 meters, 22.82 meters. Drilling maintains a 100% hit rate. 90%, 95% of the holes contain visible gold, remains wide open. And I mean, that on itself, Roger, that's a 200 and what, 40 gram meter hole. People say that if you have 100-meter gram hole, you're in good shape. This thing just keeps delivering those. You put the stats in that news release about how many, of these great gram meter holes the Surebet has delivered.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, obviously we're very blessed to be having these type of results, and you can't build a mine on one 100 gram or 1,000 gram meter hole. I mean, you need multiple holes. Let's look at, realistically, maybe for exploration to get folks excited. But let's say, look at a deposit mining scenario. I mean, you want a mineable width of kind of, 4 to 5 meters at kind of 5 grams, which is a significant high grade deposit. And, I take it to the reference of, we have over 400 pierce points in the Surebet system here. And, you can't build a mine with one great hole. You need multiple holes. We continue to hit obviously lots of visible gold, 95% of VG, widespread throughout the entire mountain ridge here. I think you coined it the mountain of gold. I like that. And then, a nice analogy is that, you can't build a profitable sawmill on one big tall tree. You need like a whole bloody forest of trees.
That's
And, we have over 400 pierce points. So let's, oop.
how do you like that, Roger? I brought your
Oh,
news release up.
okay, I thought I lost you there, but
No,
yeah, no. So we'll, bottom line is we keep on delivering here, and the truth machine never lies, and obviously we're excited to continue to get news out, drill holes. Guys are still banging away. We announced just on social there, we did exceed over 50,000 meters a couple days ago, and we're on track. Mother Nature has been cooperating with us quite nicely. Like I think it's probably the nicest weather it's been all season. These our team's been working in kind of very wet conditions and so on. But mind you, we didn't miss a beat there, and now we've got a nice stretched warm summer going into September. That should allow us to get the balance of that 60,000 meter target that we've got. We still have 9 rigs going here, and the team will be logging core for a while. But the hope is to, get out of there before the end of October.
that that is just amazing to me, Roger, to get 50,000 meters so far and targeting 60,000 in about 2.5, 3 months. Is phenomenal. These guys that you got drilling for you, they truly are the A team. Everybody says they got the A team, Roger, but
Yeah,
actions speak louder than words. And being where it is on the side of the mountain there, the team is just doing a spectacular job to
yeah.
get 50,000 meters so far and on track to get your 60,000 meters in before the end of this month is quite phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line is it's again, it is the whole team. It's all about logistics. Again, we've been, dealing with a little bit of weather here and just, making sure we have the right pilots, moving things around. Because if you can't get things moved around, you're going to be, sitting around on standby. But again, we do have a team, let's call it Top Gun pilots, moving bits and pieces around, the people, the equipment, and as well, obviously the loggers and just the whole setup here is just it's like a Swiss watch here, and obviously we're super excited. The whole team should be super excited of what a fantastic job they have done this year, and
Amazing.
will continue to do the same as they have in the past years.
And then your geologists, they got so much core. They got 60,000 meters of core to log. So they'll be logging for a good month after the drilling is completed, right?
Oh yeah, no, it'll be definitely into October, with the hope of getting out of there before Halloween, October 31st, and that's kind of the plan at the moment. And obviously, they can get out sooner than obviously they will, but also ultimately they can drive out of Kitsault typically by the end of October. Getting into November, it gets a little dicey there because you got to go over a pass and there's snow and what have you. But worst case, there's barge facilities that we could send the team out that way as well, or helicopter assisted.
So you'll be throwing core at the logged core at the labs for you should have that results out for several months into the future, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's quite a few companies drilling a lot of meters with all these financings that have taken place over the summer.
Yep,
that currently, the labs are fairly bogged down at this particular juncture. But to your question, we'll be probably seeing assays into the new year, I
that's
would expect.
awesome.
Yeah, which is great. Good news flow for the company, and similar to previous years, that lag time, I guess, in between, or the quiet period, will be somewhat minimized, I believe, with assays coming later, sort of Jan, Feb, March, and then the season starts again. We're mobilizing, so I think or I'm anticipating that quiet period will be even
Couple
shorter
months.
than previous years. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys are really good because during that time you compile all the data and you prepare for the new year, new drilling season. And our friend Randall Karcher, the brilliant geologist from the Colorado School of Mines, he does a lot of great work. I mean, this year, that technical report that he put out in 2024 was great. It really put you in a tremendous position for this year's drill program.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole team. We're always thinking about the next year and the following year, while we're going, in the present, because it's all happening real time. It's like, okay, could we possibly put a drill pad over here next year? So already pretty much, kind of ground truth, exactly where we know we can build a pad the following year. We know we're going to have water supply, which is very critical, obviously. And again, just planning for success, right? So, and with that comment about Randall and the Colorado School of Mines, we will be actually we're one of the sponsors there. They've got their own conference just right after the Beaver Creek, which is next week. And so Randall actually he'll be presenting, I think, one of his papers. If anyone's down in Golden, Colorado, they should come pop in and have a listen.
Well, you'll have to send me that paper. I love the work that Randall does. I One of the things that stood out to me quite impressively from that report he did last year was he studied the Goldilocks zone, he calls it, where there is enrichment of gold in two events in one zone where it juices up that zone into what he says is perfect for. That's why he called it a Goldilocks,
Yeah.
where you get two events putting gold into the same zone. And that was one of the best, well, I think it is the best zone ever at the project. And, why that excites me so much is you've got these flat lying, gently dipping uh, veins, if you will, and like a stacked layer, like a multi-layered cake. And then coming up vertically through that, you've got these reduced intrusion related gold dikes. And those two events are what's making for Goldilocks zones. And there could be a bunch of Goldilocks zones because the pierce points of those two crosscuts are amazing.
Yeah, no, it's truly incredible. With the more we learn about the system each year, to the point of even one of the in this last news release here that you've got pulled up here was a relog. We're not even a relog. We basically weren't really looking at this calc-silicate altered occurrences here, and that was hole 277. That was like over 12 grams gold. This is not gold equivalent. This is gold over 6 meters, that's a nice hole, right? So, it's a
That's
lot
your
of nice.
third rock package that has gold, visible gold in the naked eye in three separate rock packages, folks.
Yeah,
That in itself is pretty phenomenal. When you think about the system that pumped all that gold, that visible gold in, I'm going to go back to that other map, but it's got it into three separate rock packages. You know, Oftentimes it's only in one rock package, but this is flooding the system all the rock packages that are important are in here. We have the altered andesite that also has the visible gold in it.
Yeah. Yes. No, it's truly incredible what this mountain of gold, um, using your phrase here, is providing. So, and also, just the nature of the whole system being stacked, um, the way it is. And, we put up or I put up a new cross section plan views, and so people, if they want, they can go onto the website under Gold Digger, and that deck is in there, that presentation, and gives you a really good detailed sort of analysis as to what's happening in the system. For us, it's almost like shooting fish in a barrel, or a VG fish in a barrel, because we do understand it. Again, every year we learn more, and our drills are laser focused, and we know exactly what we're going to hit, where we're going to hit it, plus or minus, 5, 10 meters type of thing, which is pretty incredible.
Well, incredible is a fair word to say because you know, gold systems folks are not when they're predictable, you got something really great. And when you can predict within a meter or two, or give or take a handful of meters, that's pretty spectacular that it's that continuous and that predictable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, bottom line is, we're showing the continuity of the system. That was part of the focus for this year, was obviously get some tighter spacing, some within some, so, some of the higher grade zones, and then obviously branching out to areas of unknown possibilities, and I know we're hitting mineralization there as well. So I still get people calling saying, when are you going to put on an MRE? When are you going to put on an MRE? It's like, Alan, we have no idea how big this system is, so why the heck would we put a fence around it at this early stage?
Some of the you've only just got a few holes into like the altered andesite there. You're just putting a hole or two into that, and everything just gets bigger and bigger, which is a great trend to be on. That's a trend that's a rule of thumb of what you want to see is the more drilling and more science you put at a project when they turn into mines, they get better and better. Most projects get smaller and smaller. Yours gets bigger and bigger.
Exactly. And again, we'll keep on drilling until we find the outer parameters of this system, before we contemplate the MRE. And bottom line is that, the more we drill, the bigger it gets, as you say, and which is true. And more VG that we're finding, which is also quite incredible. So, we're already planning for 2026 here. So.
Well, I that's music to my ears, Roger, because I think that sometimes MREs are done too soon by explorers, and I think that until you're getting close to the edges of the system, that you're really kind of capping it in investors' minds, and why do that? And especially when it's still so wide open. You know what I mean, Roger? About you've seen it. You've been in this business a lot. How many times have you seen a company put out a MRE and it kind of caps it in people's minds? So until you get to the edges of it, why cap it?
Yeah, I agree. No, typically, time and time again, it's always under delivers, and stock gets chopped in half. You lose 50%, 80% of your market cap. And again, by no means have we even got to the edges of this thing. It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger, and so we'll just continue to drill. And
Well, I've put this map up here, Roger, because it's my favorite map of the project. And what it is, folks, is you can see the black dots or the yellow dots. These are, and the blue dots, those are where the setup is for the drill hole, the collar location. And then the black lines are the lines are your where the drill direction went. But what really stands out to me is you see those red locations inside the drill core. That's all the locations of where they have hit visible gold with the naked eye, or as you term it, the VGNE.
Yeah.
And just
What?
look at how widespread that visible gold is. I mean, you could go all the way over to the other side of the mountain, and all the way over here, you got like a kilometer and a half. And from here to here, you've got a channel of about 800, almost 1,000 meters. And that's why I call it the Golden Mountain, folks, is because there's visible gold everywhere. And that is tremendously unique, folks. You don't see this very often in a gold system where you have such widespread visible gold all over the mountain. It's a mountain of gold.
Yes, Alan, also not to just kind of segue there a little bit as well, over at Jackpot, which is about a kilometer and a half to the east there, obviously lots of BG.
Yeah, we can't see
But
it on this map, folks,
no,
but it would be way over here.
yeah, way off to the
Uh,
right.
yeah, to the right.
Yeah, and that's where we have that that piece, of chunk of VG from surface at a vein, the size of my thumbnail, which is pretty amazing. So, I mean, obviously there's lots going on here. We haven't found the extreme. This is just
The
the tip of the
limits of
iceberg.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's we'll continue drilling here and get our 60,000 meters wrapped up here in the next 2, 3 weeks, and prepare it. We've got lots of news flow. We're gonna have 100 and get it all done. And we're gonna have 108 holes to be released. So lots of news flow. 95% of the holes here that we've announced, contains the VGNE. May actually have to change our ticker to VGNE. I'm not sure. Someone suggested that the other day, but pardon. So yeah, so stay tuned.
Well, you know, it's a phenomenal system, and with visible gold, VGNE in so many holes, it's just kind of mind-boggling. I've been doing this for 32 years in exploration, Roger, and I can't remember any company coming out with that much visible gold in practically every hole
Yeah.
has visible gold in it, which is just phenomenal.
Yeah, well, definitely the geos, the folks logging are certainly spoiled. From an investor's point of view, it should give them comfort that clearly there's gold in the holes, and 95% of the holes that we announced here, that most likely gold's going to be in the assay as well. So that would definitely give some comfort if I was an investor as well. So
Well, it certainly does me, Roger. I'm an investor, I'm a shareholder, and a happy one at that. And it's also attracted quite an eclectic group of investors, strategic investors that have come into the placements to put you in a position to really do a good job with this. And by the way, folks, you look at how much I always say that actions speak louder than words. And everybody says, oh, we're concerned about our cost of capital and we're trying to be aligned with our shareholders. And, my litmus test for that, Roger, is I look at the share structure, I look at the amount of stock that's out, and I look at how much money has gone into the ground. And you guys have done a tremendous amount of drilling and you still have a reasonable share structure.
yeah, definitely, it's been super. Well, I've been trying to keep it as tight as possible. we've been taking advantage of the charity flow through with these placements where we get a lift of kind of, like a 62% lift on the back end purchasing. So that minimizes obviously dilution, but also the people that are buying on the back end who we know, i.e., like a Crescat or a McEwen Inc. or a Rob McEwen, or more recently with this bought deal with Stiefel, the 23 million, a significant new shareholder called Warta Advisors. They're like a $4 billion fund out of Toronto, long-term sticky money. And that was with no warrant as well. So, I think that was another key factor as well, that at this point, we've de-risked the this discovery. Now it's, low risk expansion, and which obviously, can telltale as to the structure of the deal. The discount was very minimal to the current market at that time. So obviously, again, we're attracting the right type of people, the sticky money, the guys that can write the big checks along the way, which is critical in this environment or this sector.
So, Roger, how many thousand meters this year? It'll be 60,000. What is the total for all the drilling you've done at Surebet?
Well, Surebet, we've drilled 92,000 meters at Gold Digger,
Yeah,
but that was some stuff we were doing kind of like going on like 2 kilometers. It was kind of like wildcat type stuff where we, looked at some, had some pretty interesting smoke. But at the Surebet proper in the mountain there, we've got about, call it 80, just over 80,000 meters, plus this year will be 90. So that gives us like about 170,000 meters.
170,000 meters, folks. And they got how many, what is it, 160 million shares or something like that?
Yeah, once 160, yeah. Yeah, so just in that area, I mean, it's 1.8 square kilometers. Again, so that's more than half the size of, let's call it Central Park in New York City. So just kind of take a boo at that. It's pretty large. And
Yeah.
the fact that we can continue to hit is pretty incredible. Um, my point here is that with the people we have backing us, we'll continue to again expand, infill, et cetera, until we get to the outer parameters of the system, and then at that time, put that MRE on it at the appropriate time.
So, I like to emphasize that not another trend that I've always seen is that when you got a great project, it tends to attract great people inside the company as well as great people as shareholders. And you guys have a tremendous roster that includes, Rob McEwen himself,
Mhm.
who's a member of the Mining Hall of Fame and made a lot of his wealth from investing in mining stocks, not just his own, but others. You have Crescat Capital, they were in there early. In the last couple years, you've brought Larry Childress, you've bought this Singapore fund, you bought this new fund in, you've got just a heck of a roster, which speaks volumes about the quality of the project as well.
Yeah, and I can't forget about Eric Sprott. He was an
Eric Sprott, yeah.
early investor as well. He came in shortly after Crescat put their first money in. Yeah, Crescat was in December 2020 before we even drilled the Surebet, and then Eric came in personally. It would have been in March of 2021 again before we drilled the Surebet.
I think Rob McEwen personally has been in there for a few years as well.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
then last year, his company, McEwen Inc., did a strategic investment that's turning out really good because you guys are up almost 50% on that investment. That's because you swapped, you took their stock instead of their cash. That's a great move, Roger.
Yeah, well, we valued their shares more than their cash. So our cost base on that is $11.50. We own roughly 900,000 shares of McEwen. I think they had some nice news out today. I think they'd be trading around $15. Is that
Yeah,
right? Canadian or 15,
Almost 16, I think.
almost 16. Yeah. So I think some new 52-week highs here. So, from a valuation, we were, like you say, we're up almost, close to 50% here, which will be non-dilutive cash to the shareholders, which is, a great situation for sure. So we're very
Roger,
fortunate
it's
to,
up $2.67 today, up
yeah,
17% to $18.45.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's officially a 50% gainer. That that was a heck of a move to take their cash instead of their stock.
Yeah, no, taking the stock instead of their cash,
Or
definitely.
the stock instead of their
Yeah, I
cash,
know.
yes.
You're getting excited, Alan. I can tell.
I see that stock. I just looked at it.
Yeah, no, it's quite incredible. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not in the business of holding other companies'
Of
paper,
course.
and we'll have to deal with it. I mean, personally, we're waiting for obviously the IPO of McEwen's, that
Copper
large
com
copper asset, correct, to IPO, I guess, in New York or Toronto. So I guess we're waiting for a PEA
Yep.
shortly.
No, a feasibility,
Or
a bankable
feasibility, pardon
feasibility.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. That that could be out at any time now, and they're getting a lot of attention. Today's news was about their gold disco discovery. So they've got you got shares in a junior gold miner and one of the top world best copper development projects. And when you were looking at it there, I think it kind of spoke for itself that their stock was worth more than their cash, and it sure's turned out good.
Yeah. Well, and it's worked out for Rob as well,
Yep.
personally, and McEwen Inc. So it's a win-win situation. So we get the obviously the marquee names uh attached to the our story and vice versa. And so it's a win-win situation for both groups for sure. We're all three groups, pardon me.
Yeah, well, it sure is turning out to be a great discovery. I've been talking about it as my highest conviction pick for a gold explorer with an important discovery for a year and a half or two now. And lately, I've been talking about that I think it could evolve into being the most important high-grade gold discovery in the Golden Triangle since possibly maybe rival Eskay Creek. And I don't say that lightly, folks. I watched how important Eskay Creek was, but with that much visible gold all over the Surebet Mountain behind you there, Roger, or the Golden Mountain, as I'm trying to coin it now, is quite phenomenal.
It is, Alan, and I've got to get going here. It's 10 o'clock, so
Okay.
I got another meeting here. But thanks for teeing this up, and happy to discuss updates down the road as well.
And you got a lot of news to come out, so we'll have a lot of reasons to talk for several months into the future, Roger.
We're going to have essentially a massive pipeline of news that 95% of those holes have visible gold. So, connect the dots. What does probability say?
I like the sounds of that, Roger, and I like the sound, folks. I'm going to wrap it up here by saying, it's truly one of the great discoveries that I've been involved with in my career, and it just keeps delivering hole after hole after hole. And they've got another 60,000. They've only reported about 7 holes so far.
Yeah.
Is that right, Roger? 7 holes
Yeah,
of
seven holds of 115 to come essentially is kind of the number
so
here.
we
So
got
as far as
lots of
meters, like the meters is around, I think, 3,000 meters ish.
yeah. Wow. Of
Like I say,
60,000.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of news. And as I said, folks, I think that Sherbet Discovery is going to prove to be one of the most important high-grade gold discoveries. And it's pure grassroots. This stuff was never seen. It was covered by glaciers until 4 or 5 years ago. And this rock was never seen by the human eye. and what a success it's been as a grassroots discovery. And I think in a lot of ways that it's still just getting started. You know, this recently they just found visible gold in a third rock package, and so wide open. Lots of drilling, lots of news. Stay tuned, do your homework, speak with your financial advisors. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.